Well, good morning, good afternoon, church, wherever you are and whenever you are. I wasn't really sure how to start this message, so I thought the best way to do this was to read to you from the Bible. So I'm going to read from Hebrews 10, verses 23 to 25. Let us hold unswervingly to the hope we profess, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching. I'd like to focus on that little phrase in there, not giving up meeting together. Now, normally I work in London in a really big building, in a very large company with about 3,000 other people, part of a large organisation. And very often I open my calendar in the morning at the start of the working day and it's filled with meetings. And you know, the thought of that can make you groan a bit inwardly. So many meetings. Nobody likes too many meetings. Now, of course, at the moment, our whole company is working remotely, which is fantastic. It's a great blessing that I can do that. And all these meetings that I used to dread are not in my calendar anymore, which may sound like a blessing. However, they have been replaced by lots and lots of conference calls, and they have their own challenges, of course. With what we find with conference calls, it can be a lot more difficult to make decisions and get things done, and it can be a lot more difficult to make progress because it can be a lot harder to judge another person's reaction to what you're saying or how they're feeling about what you're saying to them. And another thing we're finding is that some people don't work particularly well in this remote environment, and some people begin to feel isolated, perhaps feel a bit uninvolved and a bit cut off from what's going on. And I don't think that's particularly any different from how churches and organisations must be feeling up and down the country, our church included. The status quo, what we're used to, has been disrupted. You know, it's like the rug's been kind of pulled out from under everything, and the things that we've taken for granted in the past, temporarily they've been taken away from us. And it can be harder when we can't do things face to face, when we're accustomed to doing things like that. But what I would say is it's difficult, yes, but it's not impossible. It is different. We do have to do things differently, and we have to persevere differently. For example, you know, we may have to make more of an effort to be in touch with people that we would normally bump into on a Sunday morning or at a Thursday fellowship or at a Connect group. We may have to be a little bit more intentional about being in touch with people. Or when we're talking to somebody and it's not face to face and instead it's on the phone or, you know, WhatsApp call or whatever, we may have to learn to really listen to that person very carefully. And, you know, there's a big difference between hearing what someone's saying and actually listening to what they're saying. But it can be done, and so it is still a kind of meeting together that we can do with practice and with more effort. Now, I do believe that when this whole coronavirus episode is largely behind us, things will be different for everyone. Things will be different across the country, and I think things may be a little different in church. But hopefully, by us having to persevere through this difficult period, by us having to work a little bit harder at staying in touch with each other and supporting each other, we may find that we're just a little bit stronger than we were before. We may find that because we decided to hold unswervingly to the hope that we profess, and because we decided not to give up meeting together, that we're better at it. God bless you. Have a great day.